Shalom, family. It's your girl Jetty from Word Revolution and the Shitashi Out on My Nation, Tribe of Judah. Yay, yay. Um, I tried to do this a minute ago and it just got so scattered because there's so many things I want to talk about, and I'm trying to keep these videos short. But before we get into that, let me remind you all that I do have some music coming out. You can see some samples of it on my YouTube channel. Empress Jetty, the Rabble Rouser, is me. So you can check out that music on my YouTube channel. It will be coming out like as real songs. At a point, those are just the concepts. So when I write a song, I just make like a video real quick to have the concept of the song there. And then it's not been like even touched by the studio. They haven't done anything to it. And so those songs are really rough. They're really, pretty basic, but you can get a feel for them, and you might find something that you like. What is there on the YouTube is representative or samples from 3 albums that I'm working on. One is called Sabbath Songs, which you can imagine are going to bring you to the Woo-Saw space. One is called, I don't know what we'll call the War album, but it's a call to the armies of Yah. And then the other one is called Questions and Comments, and that just is what it is. It's, commentary on life in general. So keep your eyes out for those with Yah's One Entertainment. And yeah, so now moving on. I want to talk about mammon, okay? Too many of you think you serve a lot of stuff, and all you serve is mammon. And some of you think you follow the ancestors, you serve mammon. Some of you think you follow white Jesus, you serve mammon. Some of you think you serve black Jesus, you serve mammon. Some of you think you serve Yeshua HaMashiach, you serve mammon. Some of you think that you serve Yahweh of the Old Testament and you don't deal with the Messiah, you serve mammon. Listen, you guys serve mammon, okay? I keep trying to get off of social media, and there is so much work still to do there. I keep trying to get away from it because it's so frustrating for me to watch you all living these lies. It's just ridiculous because they're not, it wouldn't be so bad if the lies were just, weren't going to have an impact on the eternity of your soul. But the lies that you were telling yourselves are literally setting your soul's trajectory toward destruction. And I don't care how you think of hell. The fact is, a lot of you live in hell right now. Your state is hell, and you will continue that state of hell into eternity if you don't repent. Right? And so why do I say that you all serve mammon when you're a priestess of Oshun, or you're a pastor, or you're a Hebrew camp leader? Why do I say that you serve mammon? Because I watch your Facebook and social media activity. Facebook mainly. I'm not on any of the other ones. I mean, I'm on them, but I don't even use them. So I watch your activities. I read your commentary. And for many of you, the bottom line is that dollar. For many of you, you still think that money can save you. You still think that the system, that you can win at the system, that you can beat the system and emerge a winner. The fact that you even want to still play that game says that you serve mammon. You will become more offended by someone who steals $1 from you than by someone who even molests your child. Many of you have children who've been violated. Many of you are adults who were children who were violated, and nobody ever addressed the violator, but let some of those caretakers of these children, these parents, let someone steal $20, $30 from you, $5, some of you, and the wrath that you will unleash on them, right? And you think that a person can't look at your life and tell that you serve mammon. Now you're going to turn around and you're going to say something stupid like, only God can judge me and all this stuff. That's a lie, okay? Some of us are literally here to judge. Those with spiritual discernment are commanded to judge. We can judge you. We're supposed to judge you. If we judge you rightly, we open the door for repentance. If nobody judges you, then you will never have an opportunity for true repentance. And so when you're out here pushing this cryptocurrency and pushing things like life insurance and pushing things like savings and stocks and bonds and buy back the hood and all this stuff, you are pushing mammon. You are pushing materialism. You are materialist. Okay? There are so many scriptures where we are told, and this is in lots of different spiritual traditions, guys. I'm not just speaking of a biblical and extra biblical context. I am talking about all walks of life. The pursuit of wealth, the idea that monetary wealth, that material wealth can save, protect, elevate, establish you is false. It cannot do any of those things. And to the extent to which you believe it can and does is the extent to which you do not know and serve Yah. You do not know and serve Yah. People say things all the time like money makes the world go round. You say Yah says to come out, touch no unclean thing. In this age, it is nearly impossible to live within a Babylonian system context and not touch something defiling. Your jobs are defiling. Your food is defiling. Your entertainment is defiling. Every purchase you make nearly is defiling. And you guys have nerve to be brand conscious. You want the brands and you want the association with the large, big global companies, right? People want iPhones. People want Nikes. People want whatever, right? And you don't understand every single time you purchase this item that you're touching something unclean, that you are defiling your soul because of the immeasurable atrocities that are committed on the pipeline to that product getting into your hands. And you guys excuse it because you say things like, well, Yah's people are supposed to have the best of the best, right? Well, what Yah considers the best of the best and what the world considers the best of the best are different. So if you're using the world standard for what's best and you run out and you buy an iPhone, for example, because apparently iPhones are the cool best thing, right? They're the new best hot thing. Yah didn't tell you need an iPhone. Frankly, it's designed to defile you. And so if Yah says touch no unclean thing, and then you realize the story behind the iPhones and the production and how they're using technology for social engineering and all of this stuff, how they are literally programming your mind through these devices, and you come into the understanding that, oh my God, this is defiling. I wonder if this is one of the unclean things Yah tells me to get out and away from. And then you're going to justify it by saying something like, but you have to stay connected to the world. Right? But you have to, I fell out with a young lady who I really love from back home about a year ago because she was posting these news stories and she was commenting on what liars they were, right? Like how untrue these stories were. And I said, why are you still watching these news channels if they're just lying all the time? And do you know what she told me? She said, you have to stay informed. I don't know at what point we've lost our minds so much that we think listening to liars is being informed. If you know someone is a liar, you know that what they tell you is not you being informed. It's you being deceived. Deception and information are not the same. Right? And so you guys are out here. You know the scriptures say get out. You would rather design a whole separate doctrine apart from the end time doctrine, because there is an end time doctrine. There is a set of doctrines, guys, are just sets of instructions for a given situation, right? Like that's what really a doctrine is. It's a way of viewing and understanding the world that gives you specific way of conducting yourself in a certain situation. And so there is such a thing as an end time doctrine, scripturally speaking, biblically and extra biblically speaking, right? There are things that we are literally supposed to be doing when we see that this is the age that we're in, which we can all see, and the word says that we all know the times, okay? I think it was the book of Baruch, I think I was reading it, where it said every soul on the planet knows that this is the end time. Every soul on the planet knows that the seasons have changed. Every soul on the planet knows that this is the age of retribution. We all are aware of the change of times and seasons. And so if you then are going to search the scriptures and find scriptures that contextually do not match the end times and apply them because you want to not do like the end time prophets say, which is get the cuss away from those falling nations, get out of those empires. You think that empires are just nations? Empires are businesses. Empires are school systems. Empires are towns and cities, right? That's what empires are. And when you're told to get out of them, now because you don't trust Yah enough to provide for you, you will be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years preparing to go, stacking your cash, making sure that you create a system whereby your money never dries up, right? So I'll leave as soon as I know I can make enough money, right? Like that. And then you think that that is obeying Yah. And now when someone like me comes along and says, look, the end time scriptures all clearly say, get the cuss out of the way. Yah will make a way. You make moves. Yah will make provision. Get up out of there. You want to argue with me and tell me that I'm being irresponsible to suggest that you should pick your family up with no way of knowing how you'll be provided for. When Yah clearly says, I will provide for you. Get up out of there. I've got you. But you know what? It's true to your lineage, Hebrews, because when you read the scriptures, the Bible, and extra biblical texts as well, you find that that's all Israel ever does is Yah shows us miracles and then we complain because we want to see something that looks more like what these other nations are doing, have, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sorry, guys, it is not gonna save you. Mammon is not gonna save you. Your money's not gonna save you. Those bank accounts are not gonna save you. Your big fancy property, your fancy security system that you put in, they're not going to save you. Living in the zip code where you think things are safe, you're not safe. You are not safe outside of the instructions and obedience to Yah. And they are clear. They are clear. If you read the end time prophecies, they all say the same thing. As these nations are coming undone and falling and suffering these perils, the other side of the story is that Yah's chosen, who would be people from all walks of life, mind you, okay? They will be many who cling to Yah's chosen, right? He's pouring out his spirit on all flesh. He has sheep from different folds, right? Yah chosen are supposed to be getting, we should be out already, frankly. We should be out already because I know Yah word went out a good 7 years ago to all of us to get out. And a lot of us heard it and started planning. A lot of us heard it and started making excuses. A lot of us heard it and got the heck out. But the fact is, many of you know in your spirit that that word went forth a good 7 years ago that it's time to get up out of the system and those nations, right? Get to where Yah has called. Get to where Yah has made Goshens, right? And so we, as these nations fall and come undone, and that's one of the big crimes of the Bible, is that they left out the part, a lot of the instructions for Yah's chosen in this end time. Why? Because if you read the instructions, you also are it's easy to identify who Yah's chosen was. So they had to take out all of the parts, or they skipped a few, right? a very few, but they took out like 99% of the scriptures that are two things that identify who Yah's chosen truly are and that instruct us in what we are to do in this time and season. They took that out. But there are still 1% of them in there in the Bible, if you have your Bible, and they are clear. They are clear that while these nations are crumbling and suffering and enduring all of these plagues, Yah chosen are rising. They're starving, we are eating good, right? They're sick, we're well. They're destitute, we're living in abundance. Why? How? Because we do the opposite of what they're doing in this age. We do the opposite. That's what we're supposed to do. So, if in this age the masses are running to the doctors for cures to their diseases, not understanding that the doctors are the ones who are planting the diseases. So what we do then is we don't run to the doctor, we run to the bush. We find the natural medicine, right? That is how they stay sick and we stay well, right? How in a crumbling global economy can people be prospering as the economy is crashing? How? Because our wealth is not their wealth. Our wealth is not dollars. Our wealth is trees. Our wealth is fertile land. Our wealth is children, right? Our wealth is sister wives and brothers in arms, right? Our wealth is livestock. And so while everyone else is selling all of that stuff and pimping out their talents and their abilities and selling off their land and, all of this, they don't have time for animal husbandry because they've got to go to work and all of this stuff. So as the world is still trying to cling to that crumbling system, because it's crumbling, they're losing. The way to do what Yah says, which is, as they crumble, we go up. The way to go up is not by doing what they're doing that's causing the crumble. The way to go up is by doing the opposite. So whatever it is that the mass cultures, that the Babylonian system is promoting, you who follow Yah or you who are spiritually awakened should be doing the opposite. You should be doing the opposite. And you guys don't want to accept that because you don't trust Yah, and you don't trust whatever those gods are that you think you serve. You trust the God that you really serve, which is mammon, money. You trust money. And so you will sacrifice everything to make $1. And when someone asks you to sacrifice and there's no dollar involved, you can't even imagine it. You can't imagine doing something that's not going to generate $1. It's like, it's crazy. And you guys are going to have to come into this understanding. You don't have to. But if you want to transition through these perils and into the reign of righteousness, you must be righteous. Yah is not going to let you bring that into the new kingdom. Yah is not going to do it. You are not going to be able to come into the new kingdom and with your testimony of how you made a come up doing the things that Babylon taught you to do. Your come up stories are exclusively in this age for the righteous, the redeemed, those who will go into the next age. And please don't make the mistake of thinking it's going to take some long time. The global economy is already trashed. The American dollar is already garbage, right? Like, these things are real. They're now, okay? You don't know it because you're under the hypnosis, or you're under the spell. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what's going on with me in words. I'm losing words as I get older, so it is what it is. But you guys are under this hypnosis of social media and the media, and so you don't realize what is really happening. But if you will look to the word, if you will look within, if you will look to the heavens, if you will look to the hills, if you will look to those sources that Yah tells us to look to come into understanding, you would realize they're up Poop Creek without a paddle, and you will want to do something else and stop staking your future in that which Yah is purging from the realm. Yah is purging these pharmaceutical companies. Yah is purging these banks. Yah is purging these businesses. Yah is purging the so-called food industry. Do you know, for you people living in America, most of what you consume regularly, some nations won't even allow to be sold. It's not even considered food. You can't even sell it for human consumption in many nations. It's not even food. It's trash and poison disguised as food. It's abominations. I'm not even going to get into how much human meat and human content you all consume in the American food market. It is insane how much human content you consume on a daily basis. Why? Because you like Doritos, and you don't love Yah enough to honor your temple enough, because you know Doritos are not good for you. You know they're not good for you. That's not enough for you to not eat them because they taste good. But what you don't know is they have people in them. And so because the fact that Yah tells you to take care of your temple and not to defile it isn't good enough reason for you not to eat it, knowing what you do know, you're opening yourself up to eat what you don't know. So you don't care that the salt is causing you high blood pressure. You like the taste of Doritos. And so you're going to eat the Dorito knowing that the salt is giving you high blood pressure. And then you're going to pray to Yahweh to help you deal with the high blood pressure. And the high blood pressure is the least of your worries, because you have eaten unto damnation to your soul. Every Dorito you eat, you're eating your babies. You're eating babies. And so then you say, well, what are we supposed to eat when we go to the grocery store? If you're saying everything in the grocery store has babies in it, how are we supposed to eat? You're not supposed to be going to that grocery store. You're supposed to be somewhere on some land growing and producing what it is you need. But you want to take, I don't know what to tell you guys. There's not an easy way around this. You must cast down all idols. Every single idol will be cast down, guys. Every single one. And any of the idols you are clinging to when they are cast down, you're going down with them. Stop listening to this lie that God just loves us all so much that he is just going to be good to us no matter what we do. Some of you are still telling yourselves that lie, even though you are looking at your actual lives, and your lives are a freaking wreck. They're a wreck. You've got incest, molestation, and rape running rampant in your generations. You've got ignorance, you've got alcoholism, you've got drug abuse, you've got domestic violence, you've got poverty, you've got all of these things, and you are still telling yourself that you're team blessed. That's team cursed. Now, up until 2019, listen, we were all cursed, but even amongst the cursed, you can still be the blessed, okay? Because some of us were cursed and lived through horrors and still yet saw the hand of Yah. But we are not so silly as to start now interpreting the curses as the blessed life. You have to at least acknowledge that these are curses. And once you recognize and acknowledge that these are curses, now you can look into how to not be cursed. How do I step into the favor of Yah? Somebody lied to you and told you God just loves you no matter what. And so you don't know how to even get into his favor because you think by default you are just because you want to be. And that it has nothing to do with obedience. And it is a lie. These idols are coming down. And I'm sorry, guys, mammon is coming down. Some of you won't relocate and go connect with some other like-minded people because you want your own piece of land. You've got people like me all over the world with more land than we can use saying, just come. If you're willing to work, just come. Build your life, build your legacy, build your, you know, build your new reality, just come. But y'all won't do it because you want to know who owns the land and how you can own a piece of it for yourself. And you ain't trying. Listen. So you rather sit there in Babylon with the illusion that you own. Some of you have this crazy illusion that you own your home in Babylon. You know better. You know better. Listen, they can come and take a bulldozer and flatten your house and put in the highway any day of the week. Never mind the fact that, go ahead, pay. You done paid your mortgage 50 years ago. You done finished the mortgage on that house. Fool around and miss them taxes for a good 6 months and see if they don't take it. But you, because of what you believe about life, because you ascribe to the systems of Babylon, you think that you there in your $300,000 home, you think that you're more secure than the person that would come somewhere like Belize and meet one of my comrades and go and put a cabin up on their land and farm a couple acres. And you're like, well, who owns the land? Where's the paperwork? I need paperwork. I need this, I need that. You think that you're better off. You think your agreement with Babylon is a superior agreement to your agreement with a like-minded spiritual person. And there's no, guys, we can't fix this for you. You must come out. You must come out. You must cast down mammon. Now I'm going to do a series. I'm going to talk about a few of the idols that must be cast down. Right? I got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes or something like that left of this one about mammon. But you guys better get yourselves together. It's not a freaking game. Yah can sustain you. Birds don't have money. Jaguars don't have money. Butterflies don't have money. Yet there they are, existing a beautiful, lovely, free life. Don't you know that money is a chain around your neck that keeps you from being free? It's why you can't ever do anything, because either you got to make money, so you got to go to work, or you don't have enough money to do it how somebody out there told you was the way to do it. But I'm here to tell you, if money and life were that intricately connected, you would be born with $1 in your hand. The only thing that is integral to your soul's progression is your connection with the Most High and your ability to translate that into willful obedience, which, depending on the capabilities that you have, will either become personal culture or even global systems. But we won't enter into that because we won't let go of mammon. We won't let go of trying to win what Babylon told us is winning. We want to own things. We want to be able to buy. We want to be able to say we got so much in the bank. We believe we believe it's so serious that we will look at poor people and will judge their soul as if there's something wrong with them for being poor. We will look at a person with 7 acres of land, living in a little modest cabin on their 7 acres of land that eats off their little land. We will look at them and turn our nose up and say they need to be doing something with this land. And we will praise a person that has a $250,000 house on a plot of land this big. We would want the person with the several acres to sell off 6 acres so they can get the money to put up a big old house. Y'all are backwards, as my mother says. You're going to have to let go of mammon. You can't cling to mammon and enter into the new reality. You cannot. You cannot. Does that mean that you can't have money, ever use money, touch money, any of that? Listen, it's a tool. But frankly, it's quite defiled. If you live like Yah told you to live, you will never need a dollar in your hand. You will never need a dollar in your hand. And what y'all don't know is probably at least half of the world, if not more, lives without money. They didn't have money. I mean, they have currency in their nations, but most people don't even never see it. People out living on little farms and in little villages, and ain't no money out there. They got their little goats, they got their little chickens, they got their little cassava plants, their little mango trees, and they living their best little modest life. And then y'all let the World Health Organization and Oxfam and them come in, right? And take all these weird ass pictures and stage all this weird stuff and make you feel like, oh, that's a shame. They should have the opportunity to live in a house like me. They're so poor. And then what's worse, what do? You run over there where they're at. And instead of live like they're living, now you want to go over there and you want to live like you was living in the States or in wherever you was at, right? Britain or whatever. Now you want to come and bring that standard to them. So now they're all supposed to feel bad about this life that they've been living for generations and generations, just as happy, making babies and grandkids, great-grandkids, aunties and everything, all this, everybody around. You want them to feel bad now. You're going to put up your big giant ass mansion next to their little huts, in the middle of all their little huts. And now what? Hire all of them to work for you so maybe they can eventually have enough money to build a house like yours? And you calling that what? Now, I'm not speaking against social upgrades. I'm not speaking against improved housing, improved infrastructure, or any of that. But what is the source? What is the motivation? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to build Yah kingdom, or are you trying to build Babylon? Do you trust Yah for provision, or do you trust mammon? I live in a country where you literally have to try so hard to starve to death. It is absurd how hard you would have to try to starve here. Guys, I walk around and there is food rotting by the tons. I kid you not. It's mango season right now. There are tons of mangoes rotting as we speak, that done fell off of these big giant old mango trees. And that is just one example of the innumerable edible plants here. But do you know that they report that this nation is poor and that they have people that are starving? What do they mean when they say they have people that are starving? They mean that the Chinese has not accounted for all those people in their income. The Chinese has not sold. Let's say there's 250,000 people in Belize, and the Chinese is wondering why they are not selling 250,000 packs of noodles a day. So the fact that they're only selling 60,000 packs of noodles a day, now the UN is going to come in and say, it's because they're all starving. They're all out there starving. You only sold 60,000 packs of noodles today. That must mean 190,000 people are out there starving. And then they make these news reports about how everybody is starving because they don't have oodles of noodles. And now people won't even go to the mango tree and eat, and because they want oodles of noodles. So now they're sitting under a mango tree, hungry, talking about the government needs to do something and give them jobs. I got a job for you. Climb your ass up in the mango tree. Pick them mangoes. Maybe you don't want to just eat lone mangoes. Fine. Make some freaking jelly. Dry the fruit and sell it. Then you can buy your noodles. But it's absurd. It's absurd, you guys. You have to let go of mammon. It will kill you. Yah is purging it from this realm. And if that is what you cling to, you will be purged with it. I don't care who you think you serve. And then the funny thing about it is, when you finally get it and it clicks and you understand that mammon is not the point, that purpose is the point, Divine connection is the point. And by divine connection, I don't just mean the connection that goes from you to spirit. Divine connection will bring you into healthy relationships with people. Yah, in, and of, him, her, ourself is a plural. It's from the beginning, the very beginning, if you consider Genesis the beginning, which I do not. There were many books written before Genesis. Okay? But if you want to consider Genesis the beginning, in the beginning, he says, let us. So even Yahweh is community in his uncreated, unmanifest earthly form, or in his non-earthly manifest form, is still community. Sorry, guys. So if you dig it and you understand that mammon isn't the point, that community is the point, and if you put the energy into developing community, if you put the energy into correcting your behavior so that you are not a social pariah with these horrible social skills that everyone has, they're absolutely deplorable. You guys don't know. You'll say something like, she belongs to the streets. And then somebody say, oh my gosh, why you call that girl a hoe? I ain't call her no hoe. Why you putting words in my mouth? That's what she belongs in the street. And now you're going to fight the person. Y'all, you lack real social skills. You don't know how to have real conversations. You don't know how to build resolution, much less build your own systems to solve your own problems. Why? Because those things aren't important for mammon. Those things aren't important to go after mammon. They're only important to walk out a divine life. So you don't know those things. But if you dug it, when you get to the place where you say, okay, what would happen if I would decentralize mammon, money, gain, material gain, if I would decentralize it from the equation? I'm not even going to say you have to eradicate it. Simply cough back, huh? You didn't cough last night. Go. Get out. I love you. Make some tea. So, if you would just decentralize mammon from this is your view. All you see is mammon. Just move it over and say community building is first. You will find that a partnership of 3 to 5 people can do what money could never do. You can take $5 million to get something done, or you can take 5 wise people and get the same thing done. That's just how it is, guys. So now way over time. I'm at 38 minutes. I'm going to get off of here. So seek Yah kingdom and his righteousness, and all the things that you think you're supposed to be chasing after will be added to you. The desires of your heart, Yah will not withhold them. Yah will not withhold them. He will not. But you will perish if they are more important to you than the things that are important to Yah. It's your girl Jetty, Empress Jetty the Rabble Rouser. I'm out. Yah reigns here, y'all.